A Bulgarian football club, which means soccer, recently held a moment of silence for a former player, only to find out soon afterwards that he wasn't dead. No. Well, no harm though. No time like the present to show somebody how much you care. Michael Irvin used to decimate secondaries when he played for the Dallas Cowboys, but now he spends his time obliterating podcasters. Oh boy, I better get out of the way. Yeah, don't go over the middle holding a microphone. You know, he should have spiked the ball on the guy and said, and hit that like button and subscribe. Shohei Ohtani just hit his second home run here in Game 4, looking to sweep the Brewers. When asked about it, one of the Brewers fans said, hey, I thought he was the pitcher. And finally, Apple and Formula One have announced a partnership. Yes, Apple and Apple alone will broadcast all of the Formula One races, according to this press release. Great. Here's two products that nobody can afford or cares about. I'm just kidding. I love Formula One. I would love Apple too if I could afford it and wasn't insanely jealous. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Play Action Sports Show. Thank you guys for tuning in. Michael Irvin went off. Boy, he went off on that podcaster, didn't he? I watched it. It was fantastic. We're going to talk about that here. Of course, the Cowboys looking to make a playoff push. Now's the time to do it. And Aaron Rodgers, you know, showing that he is truly a fiery leader. And he might be exactly what the Steelers needed down there, you know, to kick some life into that storied franchise. I'm pulling for him. Aaron Rodgers doing a real good job. The Aces, by the way, winning the WNBA world title, third time in 4 years. Aja Wilson, the MVP. Just a great, great story. The Las Vegas Aces. Las Vegas is really becoming a sports town. You know, they have the Golden Knights, they have the Raiders, they have the Aces. I believe there was a story in the press not too long ago that the Oakland Athletics were planning on moving to Las Vegas. And by the way, speaking of the WNBA, did you guys catch Angel Reese in the Victoria's Secret swimsuit or, well, lingerie show? She really is an angel. Oh my gosh, Angel Reese. Time to pick six. We're going to pick 6 football games for you this week. No baseball at all. Baseball's still up in the air. Not sure what games are going to be played yet and when the start of the World Series is going to be. But it's probably going to start on a Friday just so it can avoid competing with football. By the way, the Dodgers were still up 4-0 at the 7th inning stretch, which was about 5 minutes ago. All right, let's do the pick 6. Last week, we were 1-5 on winners, and we were 2-4 on the over-under. Lifetime, that puts me at 14-10 on winners and 10-14 on the over-under. Got to do better. Let's get started. So, the first game we're going to go with is the Jaguars and the Rams. Now, they're playing at Wembley in England. Now, one of the things that makes this a strange game is that the Rams are a 3-point favorite. They're not 3.5-point favorites. No, they're 3-point favorites. Could be a push game. If there's a 3-point deficit, you get your money back. You don't win, but you don't lose. That makes it a bit of a weird game. And also, the Jaguars are used to playing in England. If you look, they've won, I think, the last 3 of 4 games they've played at Wembley or in England. So, we're going to go with the Jaguars 20-16 to beat the Rams at Wembley in England. Yes. That is the under, by the way, because it's 44.5. Now, the next game is in Power Field, Mile High Stadium. The Broncos are hosting the Giants. Now, I know many of you and myself could be tempted to go with the Giants because 100 gets you 375. The Broncos are 7.5-point favorites. And not just that, but they were 7-point favorites at the beginning of the week, and they were given another half a point. For that reason, and the fact that Bo Nix is playing, real good football. We're going to go with the Broncos at 24-14 will be the final. That's going to be the under again. Broncos 24-14 over the Giants, and that's the under of the 40.5 they're giving us. Next, we've got what will be a shootout, in my opinion. The Cowboys hosting the Commanders there at AT&T. Both teams decimated by injuries, but that doesn't stop them from putting on a show for us. I think the 54.5 is not going to be enough. They're going to go over. It's going to be 32-30 Cowboys. Dak Prescott beating Jaden Daniels at AT&T. Cowboys 32 over the Commanders 30. And again, that's the over. Now, the next game is going to be fun. The next game is going to be the Chargers hosting the Colts there at SoFi in Inglewood. Boy, the Colts are having a fantastic season. The Chargers are not having a bad season either. You know, the Colts are 5-1. The Chargers are 4-2. You know, this could be a lights-out game. It's a 48.5 point over-under. We're going to have to say it's going to be under. We're going to go with the under on this one. It's going to be 31-17 Colts. Winning in SoFi against the Chargers. Yeah, and that's the under. I just think the Colts are just ready to show what they've got. And I think they lost to the Rams there at SoFi already this year, but they come back and they win. You know, being used to playing at a place is a good thing. I think they'll play better in this game than they did against the Rams. Okay. Last but not, well, no, actually, two more games. I am sorry. Sunday night, you got the Falcons and the 49ers. Now, this is going to be a big game. The Falcons come in 3-2. The 49ers come in 4-2. It's a 47 over-under. And the 49ers are 2-point favorites. Again, with the 2 points. Could be a push in this game again. We're going to go with the 49ers winning, actually 28-14. Yeah, it's going to be under the 47 points. 28-14 will be the final score. The 49ers beat the Falcons at Levi's Stadium. And finally, take two on the finally, yes. And finally, the Lions are hosting the Bucks at Ford Field. This is a fascinating game because Baker Mayfield is doing real good down there at Tampa Bay. Of course, Goff doing real well for the Lions again. Of course, they've got Gibbs and Montgomery in the backfield. I think the Lions are going to win 37-27. Now, they're 5.5-point favorites. But I think they're going to win it by 10. 37-27. Go with the Lions. All right, folks, that's your pick six. Thank you again. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and as always, please gamble responsibly. Here, it's that time of the year. We've got pumpkin spice all over the place. Unless it's sold out, right? Lots of places selling out on all of the... And by the way, Canada already celebrated their Thanksgiving. I believe they carved a turkey on during the Mariners Blue Jays game. Yeah. Of course, that reminds me back in the days when John Madden used to carve a turkey on the NFL Thanksgiving game. Then he got weird. He started putting a chicken inside a duck, and then the duck and the chicken together, he would put it inside a turkey. And he called it a turducken. That's just weird. I used to make Swedish meatballs with 3 animals, but I won't do that again. Anyway, let's talk about what happened during this week in sports. Michael Irvin going off on that podcaster. Couple of thoughts on this whole Michael Irvin going off. One thing, Michael Irvin is unquestionably one of the greatest wide receivers of all time. I think the greatest wide receiver move that I've ever seen, still to this day, not the David Tyree catch, no. Not the Dwight Clark in the back of the end zone from Joe Montana, no. To this day, it's the Michael Irvin catching the ball on the sideline against the Buffalo Bills in the Super Bowl, stopping on a dime, with his full speed run. Oh, his lack of speed run, right? No, I'm just kidding. He was running full speed at the sideline. Then he caught the ball and stopped, and then dove, just planted his feet, stopped, and then dove into the end zone. You got to look it up. Michael Irvin diving touchdown against the Bills was just the most incredible play I've ever seen a wide receiver make. You know, the body control that it takes to do something like that. And I think he's right about the game being much different now, because in the old days you had Ronnie Lott, and I'd watch Ronnie Lott. I watched, I don't know, countless games with Ronnie Lott, and the man seemed to have no soul. He seemed to be a robot, almost mechanical, the way he went about his business, and his business was decimating wide receivers. I mean, hitting them so hard that snot went flying out of their noses. I mean, the game was brutal. Michael Irvin is absolutely correct. The game was a gladiator's sport back in the day. Now, a little less so. There's always the possibility that someone can hit somebody very hard, but it's not as much as in the old days. You know. But for him to get so angry about this podcaster saying that, I don't think that was necessary. That, you know, could have probably been held in check a little bit. But hey, you know, I don't know. I've never been a Super Bowl champion and then been told that I couldn't compete during the modern era. I mean, I'd probably get a little upset too. But by the way, there are some serious hitters out there in the NFL. I mean, there's some serious talent. It's like what I hear when I hear about all of the people that are my age, you know, and people older than me, like boomers, who complain about today's day and age, you know, today's generation. Oh, they're all spoiled. Michael Irvin was complaining, was telling these guys that their whole generation is spoiled, and then that they're soft, and that there's some killers out there who are 20 years old, you know, who are 30 years old, who are younger. There's some serious hitters. It's just that they're not allowed to do the things that Ronnie Lott was allowed to do, that Reggie White was allowed to do. You know, Bruce Smith, Lawrence Taylor, especially Lawrence Taylor. That guy was crazy. He was a killer. All right, let's move on from the Michael Irvin. Let's talk about Aaron Rodgers, because, you know, you don't tackle your own quarterback as a celebration. You know, Broderick Jones, Aaron Rodgers rightfully yelling at him for tackling him during a touchdown celebration. I mean, you're risking the injury on your quarterback on a meaningless, not even a play. It was after the play. Oh, boy. Aaron Rodgers, though, you know, got in his face. And he also went after Jalen, I'm trying to read his name, Jalen Warren, the running back, who flea flickered the ball back to, to Aaron Rodgers. Sorry about the burp. To Aaron Rodgers. And it wasn't a flea flicker. Why did he throw the ball back to him? Guess he didn't want to run. Aaron Rodgers is having fun there. You know, fiery leader. He's doing a real good job there, though, at Pittsburgh. You know, Broderick Jones, from him to Chris Jones. We're going to keep up with the Joneses. I've been wanting to talk about this for a couple weeks now, but I just haven't remembered to do so. Chris Jones didn't quit on that play. You know, with the Chiefs, they said he quit on the play. They made a big scandal about it in the media. Everybody, even the most respected journalists, are saying that the guy dogged the play. He didn't do good. Because apparently everybody was moving around him and he was just standing still. Stand in the place where you work. No, but I think what happened was he probably injured his foot. You know, it could have been a tendon or some sort of a radial, some sort of a bone, or I think he injured himself. I think he hurt himself is what happened. And he didn't want to run. He couldn't run. You know, he was trying to get maybe the ligament to snap back into place, or his bone to, go back into place or whatever. Anything's possible, but I think that's what happened. I don't think the veteran Chris Jones just quit on a play and just decided to just stand there and orchestrate this football game around him like he's Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. I think Chris Jones did not quit on that play. I think he got hurt, and he didn't want to let on that he was hurt, because what are you going to do? You're going to tell somebody that you're hurt? You're giving them your weakness. That's just my opinion on that whole thing. Again, congratulations to the Las Vegas Aces, but Angel Reese really stealing the headlines for the end of this season with that Victoria's Secret modeling pageant. Anyway, we're going to end it there. You guys take care of yourselves. Thanks for, all the likes and the subscribes. Really appreciate you. Watch some football this week. I want to see who's going to be in the World Series, and we're getting real close to Halloween here. Are you guys ready? I've got a bag of candy sitting over there. It's just waiting.